ॐ नमो नारायणाय ॐ नमो नारायणाय
Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmad Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmad Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha. So we're continuing on with chapter 14 of Hari Bhakti Vilas. We've been talking about the festivals to be observed and observances of the month of Chaitra. We did, I think, Marga, Palguna, Chaitra, now Vaishak. Vaishak is the next month. So let's go straight to text and see what sort of observances there are in the month of Vaishak. Text 354. So the rituals to be performed in the month of Vaishaka. So in a conversation between Narada and Ambarisha that is found in the Patala Kanda of Padma Purana, it's stated, Patala Kanda. Okay, so that's Patala is a Naraka, is a type of hell. It says, in the month of Vaishaka, when the sun travels in the Mesha Rasi, one should observe a vow in relation to Keshava for his pleasure. In text 355, in order to counteract all the sinful activities one may have committed during millions of previous lifetimes, one should give in charity many things like sesame seeds and cow's ghee. Text 356. In order to fulfill one's desires, one should give in charity according to his ability water, grains, sugar, a cow with her calf, sesame seeds and other items. One should bathe twice a day in water outside the house or preferably in the Ganges. Text 357. Eating only Havishya rice, certain sort of rice, which was mentioned in chapters 12 and 13. In relationship to Ekadasi, we have this idea of Havishya. It's a type of khichdi type of rice gruel that's made. Anyway, Havishya rice is a type of grain preparation. Eating only Havishya rice, observing strict celibacy, sleeping on the bare floor, living in the association of devotees, observing vows, eating only once a day, giving charity, carefully controlling the senses, worshipping Lord Madhusudana. These activities are to be performed in the month of Vaishak for the pleasure of Lord Madhusudana, who is the predominating deity of that month. Text 358. During this month, one should donate sesame seeds, water, gold, grains, sugar, cloth, cows, shoes, umbrellas, and water pots to the brahmanas. Text 359. With a controlled mind and sincere devotion, one should worship Lord Madhusudana, along with Vimala, the goddess of fortune, every morning, noon, and evening. It's interesting, this word Vimala is here translated as the goddess of fortune, because Vimala is a goddess. There's a goddess in Jagannath Puri temple, I guess a form of the goddess Durga that is also worshipped with the name Vimala. So text 360, in the conversation between Varaha Deva and Mother Earth, that is recorded in the same literature, that is Padma Purana, this verse is found. To destroy the sinful reactions that have accumulated since a very long time, one should give sesame seeds mixed with honey in charity to qualified persons in the month of Vaishaka. Text 361. Although these vows and rituals are elaborately described in various literatures, we have collected only a few verses and presented them here. So, again, a lot of times that Gopalbhata Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, a lot of times they'll say, there's a lot of verses in the scripture about this particular topic. We've just collected some main verses here. There are other verses all throughout the Shastric literature, and you can go look for more details in other places. Text 362. The rituals to be performed in the month of Vaishaka are eternal. In the conversation between Varahadev and Mother Earth, this verse is found. One who gives up the vows that are to be observed in the month of Vaishaka and commits himself to some other vows certainly rejects the most precious jewel to collect some ordinary clay. Analogy saying that if you give up these rituals, you're really giving up some wonderful rituals, and you're looking at other types of rituals. That mean those other rituals are really ordinary compared to these rituals which we're going to describe. Text 363. Even if a Brahmana who is well versed in Vedic literature gives up the vows prescribed for the month of Vaishaka, he falls down from his position and takes birth as a tree. Text 364, the glories of Vaishaka. In a conversation between Narada and Ambarisha, that is found in the same literature, so we're still talking about Padma Purana here, Patalakanda, I guess, just as there is no Lord who is equal to Lord Narayana, there is no better boat for delivering those who are drowning in the ocean of sinful activities than the observance of the vows prescribed for the month of Vaishaka. Text 365. O ruler of the earth, whatever pious activity one performs in the month of Vaishaka, which is very dear to Lord Madhava, such as giving in charity, performing fire sacrifice, chanting mantras, and bathing in a holy place, awards one unlimited piety. Text 95. Sorry, page 95, text 366. Sinful activities displayed, it's also said, sinful activities display their prominence only until the vow to be performed in the month of Vaishaka appears. Darkness remains only until the sun rises, and righteousness remains only until the propensity to harm others appears. So interesting way of putting it. Text 367 and 368. O king, pious activities such as bathing in the holy place and giving charity that are performed during the month of Kartika, when the sun enters the Tula Rasa, which is Libra, yield unlimited benefit. One obtains 1,000 times more benefit than this when such activities are performed during the period when the sun enters the Makara or Capricorn, right, in the month of Magha. One obtains 100 times more benefit than this when the sun travels in the Mesha or Aries Rasi in the month of Vaishaka. Text 369. Glorious and pious are those who bathe in a holy place during the month of Vaishaka and worship Lord Madhusudana while following the rules and regulations that are prescribed in the scriptures. Text 370. O king, that the glories of the month of Vaishaka are superior to the glories of performing a horse sacrifice will not remain a confidential understanding in the age of Kali. So it's interesting, these last few verses here, especially this 367, 368, comparing the benefit from doing particular bathing in a holy place and giving in charity, different activities, pious activities performed in Kartik, and also in Magha. And then, so Kartik is good, Magha is better. What is it saying here? 100 times better, 1,000 times better, Magha than Kartik, and 100 times better than Magha is in Vaishaka. So this is giving an idea of the scale of piety. Glorious and pious are those who bathe in the holy place during the month of Vaishaka and worship Lord Madhusudana while following the rules and regulations that are prescribed in the scriptures. Text 370. O king, that the glories of the month of Vaishaka are superior to the glories of performing a fire sacrifice will not remain a confidential understanding in the age of Kali. So everybody should know these things. Text 371. Understanding that human beings will become plunged into the ocean of hellish life by committing sinful activities in this age of Kali, Lord Hari, the master of the demigods, created this auspicious month of Vaishaka. Text 372. In the same literature, it is stated. Again, we're sticking with Padma Purana. A birth in India is rarely achieved. A human birth in India is still even more rare. And the following and preaching of religious principles is most rare. Text 373. O ruler of the earth, rarer than this is devotional service to the Supreme Lord, and even more rare than that is devotional service unto Krishna, performed in the month of Vaishaka, which is very dear to Lord Madhava. Text 374. Those who properly perform the rituals that are prescribed for this month, such as taking a ritualistic bath, giving in charity, and chanting mantras, are glorious and must be considered very pious people. Text 375. Simply by seeing such pious people, even those who are sinful-minded become free from all sinful reactions, and those who are inquisitive about the principles of religion become devoted to the Supreme Lord. Text 376, the glories of the rituals prescribed in the month of Vaishaka. Pious activities such as bathing early in the morning, performing sacrifice, giving charity, observing fasting, eating havishya rice once a day, and celebrating and observing celibacy, when they are performed in the month of Vaishaka, they destroy even grave sinful reactions. Text 377. It's also said, one who bathes early in the morning every day throughout the month of Vaishaka, and who controls his senses, chants Vedic mantras, eats havishya rice, and remains peaceful, is freed from all sinful reactions. Text 378. A devotee who lives in a solitary place, who eats only at night, who maintains himself without begging, and who conquers sleep in the month of Vaishaka, will obtain the fulfillment of all his desires. Text 379. In a conversation between Varahadeva and Mother Earth, this verse is found. One who feeds qualified brahmanas with faith and devotion in the month of Vaishaka will make his forefathers happy for one yuga for each and every morsel of food consumed. Text 380. Glorious are those who, in the month of Vaishaka, give in charity sweet preparations, barley, rice, sesame seeds, water, food, umbrellas, clothes, and shoes. Also glorious are those who offer many things in worship for the satisfaction of Lord Hari. Text 381. No one could estimate, even in millions of years, the amount of pious merit one obtains by observing the prescribed vows in the month of Vaishaka. Text 382. Such fortunate people achieve the fulfillment of all kinds of desires, such as good children, grandchildren, and a long duration of life, and after death they ascend to the kingdom of God. Text 383. The glories of morning bath in the month of Vaishaka. In a conversation between Narada and Ambarish, which is found in the Padma Purana, it is stated, O King Ambarisha, you should associate with those devotees who bathe in the early morning every day while observing the prescribed rules and regulations during the month of Vaishaka, so as to accumulate great pious merit. Text 384. The pious credit one achieves for residing in a holy place called Anandapura for 10 million years can be obtained simply by taking a holy bath in the morning, even just once during the month of Vaishaka. Text 385. To the extent that sinful reactions are nullified by meditating upon Lord Madhava, the husband of the goddess of fortune, one can become freed simply by ritualistic bathing in the morning during the month of Vaishaka. Text 386. The glories of worshipping the Supreme Lord in the month of Vaishaka. While describing the procedure for worship, it is stated in the same literature, one who offers very opulent worship to Lord Madhusudana in the month of Vaishaka achieves the benefit of worshipping Lord Madhava throughout the entire year. Text 387 and 388. A poor man who, due to not having the proper paraphernalia, worships Lord Madhava with simply an offering of flowers in the month of Vaishaka is freed from all sinful reactions, and he delivers 100 forefathers in his family. Such a person will not have to suffer due to lamentation during his next hundreds of thousands of births. Well, hopefully, he doesn't have hundreds of thousands of births, but anyway, he doesn't have to suffer. Text 389. Such a person need not be afraid of any kind of disease or poverty. His life becomes glorious as a devotee of Lord Vishnu birth after birth. Text 390 and 391. Such a person will reside in the heavenly planets for 108,000 yugas. Thereafter, he will be born as a king and thus enjoy all varieties of material happiness. Ultimately, by the mercy of Lord Madhava, he will attain devotional service at the Lord's lotus feet. Text 392. In the conversation between Varahadev and Mother Earth, it's also stated, O Mother Earth, I will always be worshipped by those who devotedly engage in my devotional service during the month of Vaishaka, whether they follow the prescribed rules or regulations or neglect to do so. Text 393. O Mother Earth, those who faithfully worship me during the month of Vaishaka will achieve more pious merit than those who perform various kinds of sacrifice as a daily practice. Text 394. The glories of the month of Vaishaka have been narrated in great detail in various Puranas, especially the Padma Purana, wherein many nice stories provide vivid illustrations. So text 395 and 396, the process of bathing during the month of Vaishaka. In the conversation between Narada and Ambarish that is found in the same literature, it is stated, during the month of Vaishaka, when the sun travels in the Mesha Rasi, one should bathe in sacred rivers such as the Ganges, or in holy places, kundas, ponds, lakes, streams, or with well water, or in any other reservoir of water, while carefully controlling the mind by remembering the lotus feet of Lord Hari. All of the examples given here of the waters, holy waters, or the water to be used for ritualistic bath are not water stored in a tank, but water that is kept in the ground in some way, either in a lake or a pond or a river, or even brought up from the ground from a well in the ground. So the idea here is that the water that's kept in the ground, which is Mother Earth, which is she's the consort of the Supreme Lord, is considered pure, and other water, when water is stored in some sort of overhead tank or goes through some pipe system, it becomes ritually impure. Text 397 to 399. After observing fasting on the Ekadasi of the fortnight of the waxing moon in the month of Chaitra, or after taking permission from a qualified Brahmana on the full moon day, or when the sun travels into the Mesha Rasi, one should observe the vow of bathing in the month of Vaishaka. One should bathe early in the morning every day throughout the entire month of Vaishaka, and beginning from the day when the sun enters the Mesha Rasi, after duly worshipping Lord Madhusudana and conducting a fire sacrifice. This will greatly please Lord Madhusudana. So that's interesting. So I'm not quite understanding this because this is describing the morning bath, pratahasnanam. So the pratahasnanam usually happens after we wake up and we do our morning ablutions, answer the calls of nature, etc. So why is it saying here that we have to do this after we've worshipped Lord Madhusudana and performing a fire sacrifice? That's interesting. So it seems like we have to get up very early, take another bath, then worship the Lord Madhusudana to perform a fire sacrifice, and then take the pratahasnanam, the morning bath, again, or it's a little confusing. Perhaps a more detailed explanation of the Sanskrit would reveal that the morning bath comes before the worship and the fire sacrifice, or at least there should be some sort of bath before that. So text 400. One should pray, let my daily sacred bath in the month of Vaishaka, which is undertaken by the mercy of Lord Madhusudana and with the permission of the Brahmanas, be completed without impediment. So this seems to be a mantra here, so let's have a look at it. Text 400. Madhuhantu prasadena brahmananam anugyaya nirvignam astu me punyam vaishakasnana anvaham. Vaishaka Snanam Anvaham. Okay. And the next one is also seems to be a mantra. Madhave Meshage Bhanau Murare Marusudana Pratahashnanena Me Nata Yadokta Paladho Bhava. O Murari, O Madhusudana, O beloved Lord, may you bestow the fulfillment of all my desires as a result of my bathing every morning during the month of Vaishaka, as the sun remains in the Mesha Rasi. Text 402. Yata te madhavo maso valabho Madhusudana prataha snanena me tasmin palado bhava papaha. O Lord Madhusudana, the month of Vaishaka is your favorite month. May you take away all my sinful reactions and award me great benefit as a result of my bathing every morning during this month. Text 403. So text 400 to 402, 400, 401, 402 seem to be mantras to be chanted at the time of taking bath in the morning. After chanting these mantras, one should first wash his feet before bathing in one of the reservoirs of water listed previously, while silently remembering Lord Narayana. That's the first step. Text 404. One can collect more information regarding this celebrated vow from the revealed scriptures. We have only described the glories of a morning bath in brief. Okay, so if we really want to know all about the morning bath, we can look in earlier chapters of Hari Bhakti Vilas, probably the third chapter of Hari Bhakti Vilas, about the different types of baths and how to perform ritualistic bath. So next, text 405, the special vow of Akshaya Tritiya. Akshaya Tritiya. First of all, its glories. In the Matsya Purana, it's stated, the Supreme Lord is the benefactor of all kinds of living entities. He produces the food grain, barley, on the third day in the fortnight of the waxing moon of the month of Vaishaka. Text 406. The Lord also caused the Ganges, which consists of 3 streams, to appear within this world by descending from Brahmaloka. On the auspicious day of the Ganges' appearance, one should perform a fire sacrifice by offering barley as an oblation, and one should also worship Lord Vishnu by offering him barley. So it seems like what we're saying here is the appearance, Akshaya Tritiya, which is the third day of the month, and Akshaya means something which can't be destroyed, indestructible, the indestructible. It's a good day to supposedly a good day to perform any pious activity because the actual day ensures that you're successful in performing your pious activity. So Akshaya Tritiya is very auspicious to perform activities on Akshaya Tritiya, and they'll certainly bear results if you do it on that day. It's supposed to be here the appearance day of barley in this world, and therefore barley is used as an oblation in the fire sacrifice. And it's also what it says here is it's the day of the appearance of the Ganges in this world. It says here that the Ganges consists of 3 streams. That's interesting, and descending from Brahmaloka. Text 407. One should give barley in charity to the Brahmanas and give them food prepared with barley. Text 408. In the conversation between Varahadev and Mother Earth that is recorded in the Padma Purana, this verse is found. On the third day of the fortnight of the waxing moon in the month of Vaishaka, Treta Yuga, the Vedas, religious principles, and the path of increasing material attachment were inaugurated. Okay, so Akshaya Tritiya was the first day of Treta Yuga. The Vedas were inaugurated. Interesting. So I'm not sure what that means exactly because the Vedas are eternal, but perhaps Veda Vyasa arranged the Vedas and presented them in the 3 or 4 Samhitas that we know now, Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Tavana, on Akshaya Tritiya. Religious principles in the path of increasing material attachment were inaugurated. That's the Pravriti Marga. The text 409 and 410. Because this particular Because this particular third day of the fortnight is very dear to Lord Hari, it is known as Akshaya Tritiya. Whatever pious acts one performs on this day, such as taking a holy bath, giving charity, offering oblations, and chanting mantras, awards an inexhaustible result. Those who worship Lord Vishnu by offering him barley on this day, and who perform the Shraddha ceremony, that is the pleasing of the ancestors, to the forefathers, are certainly recognized as devotees of Lord Vishnu, and thus their lives are glorious. Text 411, the glories of Shukla Saptami. So that's all about Akshaya Tritiya. Now we're talking about Shukla Saptami. So Saptami is the seventh day of the seventh day of the moon, seventh lunar day. Shukla indicates that it's in the waxing fortnight. Shukla means bright. So in a conversation between Narada and Ambarish, which is found in the Padma Purana, it is stated in the ancient times, on the third day of the fortnight of the waxing moon in the month of Vaishaka, which is the Akshaya Tritiya, the great sage Janu once drank the entire water of the Ganges out of anger. Later on, he released her through the hole of his right ear. Text 412. On this auspicious day, one should worship Ganga Devi, the purifier of the entire universe. Anyone who takes a complete bath in the Ganges on this day is most glorious and pious. Text 413. By abundantly satisfying the demigods, the forefathers, the members of human society on this day, by offering them Ganges water as an oblation, one blesses them to become sinless. Text 414. Ata Sri Narasimha Chaturdasi, the vow of Sri Narasimha Chaturdasi. So Lord Narasimha appeared on the 14th day of the fortnight of the waxing moon of the month of Vaishaka. Therefore, one should observe all the vows related to this auspicious day and worship the Lord with love and devotion. Text 415. Sri Narasimha Chaturdasi Vrata is eternal. In the conversation between Lord Nrsimhadev and Prahlada that is found in the Brihad Nrsimha Purana, it is said, for my pleasure every year, one should observe the vow of Chaturdasi. Those who are very fearful of material existence should certainly observe this most confidential and excellent vow. Text 416. It is also said, one who purposely transgresses this vow incurs sin. Knowing this, one should observe this supreme vow, otherwise he will continue to rot in hell for as long as the sun and the moon rise in the sky. Text 417. A proper candidate for observing this vow. So that is the tatra adhikari means qualification, nirnaya, discussion. We're going to have a discussion about this qualification of a person to observe the vow of Nrsimha Chaturdasi. In the same Purana, that is Brihad Nrsimha Purana, it says, everyone is eligible to observe this vow, especially my devotees, and those who are inclined towards me must observe it. Text 418, the glories of this vow. In the same Purana, that is Brihad Nrsimha Purana, Prahlad has said, O Supreme Lord, O Vishnu, I bow down to you. O Lord Nrsimhadev, I offer my obeisances to you. I am your devotee. O Lord of Lords, I now express to you my heartfelt inquiry. Right? So this seems to be actually a prayer that can be chanted. Namaste Bhagavan Vishnu, Nrsimha Vapushe Namaha, Tvad Bhakto Ham Sureshaikam, Tvam Praprichami Tatvataha. Text 419. O Lord, how did I develop such intense devotion for you? O my Lord, kindly tell me, how did I become your exalted devotee? So this is prayers by Prahlad. So again, it's spoken by Prahlad and it's in the form of a prayer. Swamim stvayi mamotpana bhaktir bahuvida katam katante supriyo jata karnam vada me prabho. Text 420, Lord Nrsimhadev said, so he maybe is giving the answers to these questions by Prahlad. Katayami Mahapragya Shrinu Svaikagramanasaha Bhaktiryat Karanam Vatsa Priyat Vasya Cha Tat Punaha. O greatly learned one, O my son, listen carefully as I explain to you the reason for your devotion to me that has made you very dear to me. Text 421. He continues on. Pura kalpe hyabhur vipraha kinchit tvam napyadhitavan namna cha vasudevo hi veshyayam tatparo hyabuhu. In the ancient times, you were born as a Brahmana, but you did not study any of the scriptures. Your name was Vasudeva, and you became attached to a prostitute. Text 422. Tasmin janmani naivatvam chakarta sukrata hiyat muktva tu madvratam chaikam veshya sangati la lashaha madvratasya prabhavena bhaktir jata taved rishi. In that birth, you became so attached to the prostitute that you did not bother to perform any pious activity, except for a single vow in relation to me. As a result of observing that vow, you developed exalted devotion to me. Text 423. Prahlad then said, Sri Prahlad Uvacha, Sri Nrsimhachuta Swamin Kasya Putrena Kim Kritam Veshayam Vartamanena Tatam Tadhi Kritam Maya Akyanam Vistaren Nedam Vaktum Arhasi Sampratam. O Lord Nrsimhadev, O Achyuta, O Supreme Lord, who was my father in that lifetime? What was my duty? How did I observe your vow, even though I was attached to a prostitute? Kindly explain all this to me in detail. Text 424. Lord Nrsimhadev said, Sri Nrsimha Uvacha, Pura Vanti Pure Hyasid, Brahmano Vedapa Ragaha, Tannama Vasusharmati, Sarvalokeshu Vishrutam. In ancient times, there was a Brahmana who was well versed in the Vedic literature. He lived in the city of Avantipura and was known as Vasu Sharma. Text 425 and 426. Nitya Homa Kriya Mesha Karotvi Dvijasattamaha Brahma Kriyasu Satatam Sarvasu Kila Tatpataha Agnistoma Dibir Yagyer Ishta Sarve Surottamaha Tenapi Vidyamane Na Kritam Duskritam Kiyat. This pious Brahmana used to perform fire sacrifice every day, Nitya Homa. He was very expert at performing all kinds of Vedic rituals, and as such, he would satisfy the best of demigods by performing the Agnistoma sacrifice. In that state of living, he did not commit any sinful activity. Actually, the Agnistoma sacrifice is meant for satisfying Lord Vishnu, and it's one of the Soma sacrifices. So when it says Agnistoma, it means that they're offering of Soma Ras, Soma juice, to Lord Vishnu. Text, it's a Shrauta sacrifice. So text 427, Tasya Bharya Sushila Bud Vikyata Bhuvanatraye Pativrata Sadachara Pati Bhakti Parayana. His wife was very pious and humble. She was famous throughout the three worlds. She was chaste, expert in performing all kinds of pious activities, and always eager to serve her husband. Text 428. Nyagire cha suta pancha tasyam dvija varatataha sadachara suvidvam saha pitri bhakti parayanaha tesham madhye kanishtasthvam veshyayam tat parasara. That exalted Brahmana begot 5 sons within the womb of his wife. These sons were very pious, learned, and devoted to their father. Among them, you were the youngest, and you became attached to a prostitute. Text 429. Tam saniveshteva manena surapanam kritam tvaya sada paparatastvam hi na krita adhyayanam brisham. Due to being attached to the prostitute, you became accustomed to drinking wine and performing other sinful activities, so that you never engaged in the study of the Vedas. Text 430. Vilasini grihe nityam vasatir hyabhavatava ekada tadgrihe hyasid taya saha mahan kalihi. You spend most of your time at the house of the prostitute. One day, however, you and her quarreled. Text 430. Tata kalahabhavena bhojanam na kritam tvaya ajnanan madvritam chakre vratanam uttamam vratam. Because of that quarrel, you missed your meal on that day, and as a result, you unknowingly observed a sacred vow in relation to me. Text 430. Taya saha vivadena ratro jagaranam kritam veshaya api tat sarvam prajatantu tvaya samam. Because of that quarrel with the prostitute, you did not sleep the entire night. The prostitute also did not eat anything, nor did she sleep that night in your association. Text 433. Ratro jagarane tasya sanyatam kayashodhanam yuvayor madvratam jatam agyanad bahu punyadam. Because of unknowingly observing this vow in relation to me, throughout the entire day and night, both of you became purified and accumulated heaps of pious merit. Text 434. Yena chirna pratannadhya morante divi devataha shrishtyartantu tato brahma chakre madvratam uttamam. On the strength of observing this vow, the demigods are able to enjoy their lives in the heavenly planets. In order to acquire the power to create, Brahma had observed this vow. Text 435. Madvratasya prabhavena nirmitam satarataram ishvare napi tachirnam vadartam tripurasya cha mahim naiva vratasyasya tripuram samnipatitam. Being empowered due to the observing of this vow in relation to me, Brahma was able to create all moving and non-moving living entities. Mahadeva, or Shiva, also observed this vow so that he could kill the great demon Tripurasura. It is a fact that by the strength of this vow, Shiva was able to kill that formidable demon. Text 436. Anyaischa bahubhir dever rishibhischa puratanaihi rajabhischa mahapragner vihitam vratam uttamam So here at the end of all these verses saying Vratam Uttamam, it's the greatest Vratam. So many other demigods, ancient sages, and learned and pious kings had previously followed this great vow in relation to me. Text 437. Etad vrata pravavemana sarve siddhim upagataha veshyati matpriya jata trilokye sukacharini irsham madvratam vatsa Trilokye Chaiva Vishrutam. This Irsham seems to be a spelling mistake here. We have to look it up in the original. But so by the influence of this vow, all of them attained the perfection of life. The prostitute also became devoted to me and thereafter enjoyed great happiness within the three worlds. My dear child, it is for this reason that this vow in relation to me is celebrated throughout the three worlds. Text 438. Jurtascha Vilasinya Ratam Etad Upastitam Prahladena Prahladatena Te Bhaktir Mai Jata Hyanuttama. Okay. This vow came into existence just to deliver such rascals. O Prahlada, by the strength of that vow, you came to render devotional service unto me. Text 439. So one interesting thing about this story, before I go on, is that Prahlad's asking Narasimhadev about how he became a devotee. He became a devotee by following the vow to Lord Narasimhadev of the Narasimha Chaturdasi. But Narasimha Chaturdasi is when Narasimha appeared to save Prahlad. So somebody might say, well, Narasimha Chaturdasi is when Narasimha appeared. So Prahlad became his devotee before Narasimha Chaturdasi, not after Narasimha Chaturdasi, by observing Narasimha Chaturdasi, right? So this is because this Chaturdasi happens in different kalpas, in different ages, and it continues to happen. So he observed it previously. It's an eternal pastime which happens from time to time in this material world. So first it happened, and then Prahlad observed it, and then later Lord Narasimhadev also appeared again on the Chaturdasi to save Prahlad. So in case anybody's not getting the timeline right here. Text 439. In her next life, the prostitute was born in heaven as an apsara, and after enjoying life there immensely, she entered my supreme abode. O Prahlad, you will also have become non-different from me. Exactly what that entails. I mean, if we look in the Sanskrit or in the purport, non-different of course, non-different, not in the sense of becoming God, but in the sense of gaining all the qualities of God, becoming extremely spiritual. So text 440. In order to propagate devotional service to me, you have incarnated separately from my body. After completing the task of preaching the glories of devotional service, you will again enter my eternal abode. So this is a very interesting verse here. Seems to indicate that Prahlad was also a Nityasiddha or a Nityasuri, an eternal resident of Sri Vaikuntham, who came for a particular purpose here, to propagate the devotional service of Lord Narasimha. Text 441. Those who observe this supreme vow in relation to me will never return to this material existence, even in hundreds of millions of kalpas. Text 442. By observing this vow, a childless person can have a beautiful and devoted child, and a poverty-stricken person can become as rich as Kuvera. Kuvera is the god of money. So, text 443. By the potency of this vow, one who desires power can have it. One who wants a kingdom can have an opulent kingdom. And one who desires a long duration of life can have a lifespan as long as that of Mahadeva. Mahadeva meaning Shiva. Text 444. This great vow awards good children. and good fortune to women, and it prevents them from becoming a widow. In other words, prevents their husbands from dying. It also removes the danger of losing their children. Text 445. This vow bestows prosperity. It helps women become dear to their husbands. It awards auspiciousness and the happiness of being the king of the earth. It also bestows divine pleasure upon women. Text 446. To one who observes this supreme vow in relation to me, whether a man or a woman, I award happiness, sense enjoyment, and liberation. Text 447. My dear child, what is the need for elaborating on the glories of this vow? Neither I nor Mahadeva, Shiva, can adequately describe the benefit of observing this vow. Text 448. Even Brahma would be unable to describe its glories if he were to try his entire life utilizing his four mouths. Text 449. In connection with the description of this vow in the same Purana, this verse is found. The more that sinful activities increase in Kali Yuga, the less people will observe this supreme vow of mine, meaning the Nrsimha Chaturdasi. Text 450. Sinful-minded people have no interest in observing this vow of mine. Those who are simply attached to sinful activities only engage in impious acts. Text 451. After considering all these facts, one should observe this vow, and which occurs in the month of Vaishaka. O child Prahlada, when the auspicious day of Chaturdasi arrives, you should observe this vow, which destroys all sinful reactions. Text 452. By observing a single vow of Nrsimha Chaturdasi, one obtains the merit of observing 1,000 Dwadasi Vratas. This is a fact, and do not think that this statement is an exaggeration. Text 453. At the end of their conversation, this verse appears. One who hears this description of this vow, which destroys all sins, will immediately become relieved from the sin of killing a Brahmana. Text 454. One who glorifies the discussion of this most confidential and sacred vow will obtain the merit of observing this vow, and as such, all of his desires will be fulfilled. So this is sometimes stated here as a Mahatmya glorification of a vow, is that even just by hearing about the vow or discussing about the vow, you get the same benefit as actually observing the vow. Interesting. So now we have a section 455, 456, the ascertainment of the day for observing this vow. So now we've heard some of the glories of the vow and why we should observe the vow of Nrsimha Chaturdasi. And now we should find out how to actually calculate that day when we should observe the vow. In the Agamas, it is said, so Agamas, Vaishnava Agamas are Vaikanas Agamas, Pancharatra Agamas. So in the Agamas, which deal with the worship of Lord Vishnu, right? Here it is stated what the day is that we should observe the Nrsimha Chaturdasi on. During the twilight, that is dusk, of the 14th day of the fortnight of the waxing moon of the month of Vaishaka, Lord Hari, being unable to tolerate the torture inflicted upon Prahlada, his devotee, appeared by his own sweet will as Narasimhadev from a pillar, thus astonishing the assembled people while producing a formidable sound. Text 457. Because Lord Narasimhadev incarnated on this auspicious Chaturdasi, one should carefully observe fasting and then worship Lord Vishnu in the evening. Text 458. In the Brihad Narasimha Purana, it is stated, because of my advent on the 14th day of the fortnight of the waxing moon in the month of Vaishaka, one should celebrate a festival on this sacred day, which destroys all sinful reactions. Text 459. It's also said, this vow is generally observed on a Saturday, Saturday being not normally an auspicious day because it's ruled by the day is ruled by the planet Saturn, right? When the Swati Nakshatra joins the auspicious day. So a good day, a good Narasimha Chaturdasi occurs on a Saturday when there is this Swati Nakshatra, the Swati star, which is the birth star of Lord Narasimha, right, appearing at the same time. Sometimes by the arrangement of providence, when there occurs a very auspicious moment known as Siddha Yoga. So there are also different yogas and karanas. To find out all these 5 aspects of the Vedic calendar, you have to look up the Panchangam. Panchangam means 5 limbs. In those 5 limbs, we have Titi, Vara, Yoga, Nakshatra, and Karana. These 5 things. Usually we only look at the Vara, the day of the week, the Titi, the lunar day, the Nakshatra, the star, and the Yoga and the Karna. We usually don't look for those, but here it's saying Siddha Yoga. We should look for this suspicious moment, Siddha Yoga. If all these factors combine, then such an auspicious day can destroy even the sinful reactions for killing millions of living entities. Text 460. Even if the moment of Siddha Yoga does not occur, those who desire auspiciousness should still observe a festival on the 14th day, 14th lunar day, because it was the day of my appearance. Still, Vaishnavas should never observe fasting if the Chaturdasi, the 14th day, is contaminated by the presence of the 13th day, the Trayodasi. Text 461. In the Agamas, it is also stated, if the Chaturdasi, which is very dear to the Supreme Lord, and which takes away all sinful reactions, falls on a Tuesday, again, Tuesday, not usually an auspicious day in Hinduism, because it is governed by the planet Mars or Angarika, right? It is to be observed, but even it is enjoined with Swati Nakshatra, and if it is touched with the presence of Trayodasi, it should not be observed. Right. So if Chaturdasi, if the 14th lunar day falls on a Tuesday, that's good. Right. Right. And even better if it's connected with this Swati Nakshatra, which is very important for the appearance star of Lord Narasimha. So that's all very good. But even if it's that good, if it's really that good, and it's on a Tuesday with a Swati Nakshatra and it's a Chaturdasi, still, if it's touched by the presence of Trayodasi, it should not be observed. Right, you should observe it the next day. So in all these cases, we have to watch out for the contamination of the Trayodasi, the 13th day on the 14th day. So text 462. The process of observing this vow. So it is also stated, my dear Prahlada, on this auspicious day, one should rise early in the morning, brush his teeth, right? This is interesting because usually you don't brush your teeth on a fast day or on a vrata day, but here it's saying specifically brushing the teeth, right? And it says in the Sanskrit, danta davana. So brush his teeth and then make a resolution or a sankalpa or vow to observe the vow strictly according to the prescribed rules and regulations while constantly remembering me. Text 463, the mantra for making the resolution. So here is the sankalpa mantra for Narasimha Chaturdasi. Shri Narasimha Mahabhima Dayam Kuru Mamopari Adyaham Te Vidyasyami Vratam Nirvignatam Naya. O Lord Narasimhadev, O greatly powerful one, please display compassion towards me. Today I will observe this vow of yours, and so kindly help me to complete it without any impediment. Text 464. Those who want to obtain the complete benefit of this vow should not indulge in talking with sinful people, nor should they engage in idle gossip. Very interesting. So perhaps if instead of talking to sinful people, one can observe some sort of silence when not around people who are, Vaishnavas. Text 465. On this sacred day, great souls who desire to observe this vow should give up conversing with women and playing chess. They should constantly remember my form throughout the day. And of course, vice versa for the women, they should give up talking to the men. And here, I'm not sure exactly what part of the sloka talks about playing chess, but We may have to look up the Sanskrit for that and see what that's all about. But usually playing these sort of games and things like that is considered a distraction on a fast day or on a holy day. Text 466. A learned person should then take his noon bath. Okay, so here we're talking about different types of baths. So we just was discussing about the early morning bath in the month of Vaishaka, and now we're talking about a noon bath. So in fact, normally people, India, of course, is a very hot tropical place, and so people take 2 or 3 baths a day, right? And so there's a morning bath, there's a noon bath, there's an evening bath, like that. So here we're talking about a learned person should take his noon bath either in the river or at home, right? At home there will be a well and pull water from the well, or in a sacred kunda, which means a pond or lake filled with lotus flowers while reciting Vedic mantras. So again, we have to see the ritual bath, which includes the dipping oneself in water or pouring water from a well over oneself while chanting Vedic mantras. Then it says here, while taking his bath, a devotee should rub his body either with cow dung, clay, amalaki fruit, or sesame seeds, which takes away all sins. Now, when it says here, it says mritika means clay or earth, holy earth, right? Gomaye means cow dung, like that. Datri palena is the amalaki fruit, like that. And tilair means sesame. It could also mean sesame oil. It could also mean taking a sesame oil bath, but it doesn't exactly mention oil here. It just says tilair with sesame. So whether sesame oil is used or whether sesame seeds are used, we are not exactly sure. Then he should put on a fresh dhoti and chadar, so 2 pieces of cloth. Which I'm not exactly seeing. It just says suchi vastre. So clean clothes, right? Clean cloth, right? And carry vastram vastre. See, when it says vastre, it means 2 pieces because it's in the dual case, right? So suchi vastre, 2 pieces of clean cloth, right? So it means dhoti and chadar, and carry out his daily rituals. Right, so text 468. After bathing and returning home, while remembering me with love and devotion, one should smear cow dung on the altar for worship and prepare a drawing of a lotus flower with 8 petals on the top of the altar. So cleaning the altar with cow dung and smearing it with cow dung, applying cow dung, and then drawing an 8-petal lotus flower there on top of the altar. Text 469. In the middle of the lotus, one should install a copper pitcher. Now, let's have a look first of all at this. So it says here, Tato Griham, okay. Gomayena Viliptatya means plastered with gomana. And then it says Kuryat Astadalam Bujam. So then we have to make an 8-petal lotus design. In the middle of the lotus, one should install a copper pitcher or a copper pot, kalasham tatra samstapya. Tamram means copper, right? Ratna samanvitam, with jewels, decorated with jewels, or maybe there's a jewel inside the pot, and place a container filled with rice paddy on top of it. On top of that container, one should establish a deity of Lakshmi and Narasimhadev made of gold. Text 470. One should give up all miserliness and use either 1 pala or 1/2 pala or 1/4 pala of gold to make the deities. The deities should then be bathed with 5 substances. Panchamrita means the 5 substances: milk, yogurt, ghee, honey, and sugar, right? Before one begins to worship them. Okay, so there's an initial bathing of these deities in Panchamrita. Text 471 and 472. One should engage a qualified brahmana who is devoid of greed well-versed in Shastra, peaceful, charitable, and self-controlled as the priest. In accordance with the prescribed rules and regulations of the Shastra, the priest will conduct the worship of the deities. Intelligent devotees can also worship the Lord under the guidance of the priest. So, text 473. Before beginning the main puja, one should worship Prahlad as a preliminary puja. Right? In the Agamas, it is stated, on the sacred day of Nrsimha Chaturdasi, which manifests in the world to destroy Prahlad's distress, one should first offer worship to Prahlad before worshipping Lord Hari. Text 474 to 475. In the Brihan Nrsimha Purana, it is stated, one should install my deity and decorate me with a flower outfit, and then devotedly worship me by offering seasonal flowers. One should offer 16 ingredients of worship while chanting my holy names, as well as appropriate mantras. One should also recite mantras from the Puranas during the course of this worship. So yeah, it seems to say all of those things. Upachare soda sabir. Okay. Manmantre namabhishtata. Okay. Text 476, the mantra for offering sandalwood paste. So here we're going to have some specific mantras which are used just for Narasimha Chaturdasi for offering different items and different services or upacharas to the deity. Chandaram sitalam divyam chandra kumkuma mishritam dadami te pratushyatam nrsimha parameshwara. Oh, Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Nrsimhadev, for your satisfaction, I now offer you divine, cool sandalwood paste mixed with camphor. Text 477, the mantra for offering flowers. Kalod bhavani pushpani, tulasyadini vai prabho, pujami nrsimhesha, pujayami nrsimhesha, lakshmya saha namostute. O Supreme Lord, O Nrsimhadev, I worship you along with Lakshmi Devi, with offerings of flowers that bloom in spring and tulsi leaves. My humble obeisances unto you. Text 478, the mantra for offering incense. Kala agaru mayam dupam, sarvadeva subdurlabam, karomi te Mahavishnu, sarvakama samriddaye. O Mahavishnu, you are to fulfill all my desires. I will worship you with an offering of black aguru, which is rarely available even for the demigods. So interesting. So maybe if you get the aguru flavored incense. So this aguru is a type of wood, auspicious wood, and it's a very nice fragrance, especially in the cool weather. Aguru. Text 479, the mantra for offering a ghee lamp. Deepa pa pahara proktas tamasam rasinashanaha deepena labhyate tejas tasma deepam dadamite. O Nrsimhadev, by offering this ghee lamp, which destroys the darkness of ignorance, as well as sinful reactions, one obtains special power. Therefore, I offer this ghee lamp to you. Text 480, the mantra for offering food. Naivedyam sokyadam chastu, bhakshya bhojya samanvitam, dadami te ramakanta, sarvapapa kshayam kuru. O beloved of Lord Lakshmi, I place before you these offerings of food. May you be pleased with this offering and kindly remove all my sins. The mantra for offering Arghya. Now it's interesting that we get Arghya here. Maybe not exactly in the order of the method of offering. Depends on the particular prayoga, the particular procedure that you're using. But here we have a Arghya, which usually comes first or at least second in offering of different upacharas or different services to the Lord in puja. So here's the mantra for offering Arghya. Nrsimha Chuta Devesha Lakshmi Kanta Jagatpate Anena Arghya Pradhanena. Anena Arghya Pradhanena should be put together there, Sandhi. Sapala, sure, Manorataha. O Lord Nrsimha, O Achyuta, O Lord of the demigods, O husband of Lakshmi, O Lord of the universe, let all my desires be fulfilled by offering this argya to you. Text 482, the mantra for offering worship, the puja mantra. So maybe this could be the mantra for offering all the puja, all the upacharas at the end, or this might be a mantra that you might use at the beginning, the mantra for first offering puja. Pitambara Mahavishnu, Prahlada Bhayanasakrit, Yata Bhuta Chanenata, Yadokta Palado Bhava. O Mahavishnu, who wears yellow garments, O destroyer of fear for Prahlada, may you be satisfied with whatever little worship I offer you to the best of my ability, so that you bestow your mercy upon me. Sounds like this comes at the end of offering the different upacharas. So text 483, the exact process of how to offer these upacharas is not exactly given. So one should remain awake throughout the night while dancing, singing, playing musical instruments, reciting the Puranas, and listening to discussions of my transcendental glories. Text 484. Thereafter, one should bathe early in the morning and worship me with love and devotion while following the above-mentioned procedure without displaying any idleness. Okay, so again, stay up all night, fasting and overnight for the vratam, and then get up early in the morning, take bath, and observe the worship in the next day also, which is called the Puna Puja, right, of the deity. So text 485, it's also said, the master, O master of the demigods, please deliver all those who have taken birth in my family, as well as those who will take birth in the future, from the intolerable ocean of material existence. This sounds like it's a prayer that can be chanted. So madvam se ye narajata ye janisyati matpuraha tam stvam udhara devesha dushahad bhava sagarat. Text 486 to 487. This also sounds like prayers that can be chanted. Patakarnava bhagnasya vyadi dukam vurasibihi tivrestu pratibhutasya mahadhuka gatasya me kara avalam vanam dehi sheshashayin jagatpate Sri Nrsimha. There's a spelling mistake here. Sri Nrsimha Ramakanta Bhaktanam Bayanashana. O Lord who lies on the bed of Anantashesha, O Lord of the universe, O Nrsimha, O Lord of Lakshmi, O destroyer of the devotees' fears, I am suffering from great distress due to drowning in the ocean of sinful activities and disease. So kindly lend me your fearless hand and give me protection. Text 488. Shirambudhi Nivasa Tvam Priya Mano Janardana Vratena Nena Me Deva Mukti Prado Bhava. O Janardana, O Lord, who lies in the ocean of milk, O Supreme Lord, may you be pleased by my observance of this vow, and may you bestow upon me material enjoyment and liberation. Text 489. After worshipping the Lord and offering prayers to him in this way, one should immerse the deity into water of the Ganges and then feed the acharya sumptuously. So the word visrija is used here for visarjana, or the valediction of the deity, because this is a small deity, movable deity, and we invoke the deity and then we dismiss the deity like that. So of course, it was interesting because in the beginning, this seems to be two different prayogas which are being mixed here, because the original prayoga called for having a golden deity. Here it's talking about immersing and a deity. Usually when you immerse a deity in water at the time of Visarjana, or after Visarjana, letting the deity go back to his own abode, either in your heart or in Sri Vaikuntham or wherever that deity resides. Usually the dissolving of a clay deity in the Ganges or in the water or in the sea in some body of water, this is done for a temporary deity made of clay, and not one made of gold. So anyway, that's sort of an interesting point here. So text 490. Thereafter, one should bid farewell to the assembled brahmanas while giving them dakshina. So this is called sambhavana or dakshina, giving sacrificial fee to the brahmanas who've helped you perform the puja. As the yajamana, the sponsor of the puja, you will pay or give these. There's two things here. There's dhanam and there's dakshinam. Dakshinam means a sacrificial fee for the brahmin performing the particular service. That has to be given. The other thing is dhanam, or just straight out charity to the brahmanas, giving them things without them having to do anything in return. Then one should sit down and take prasada, the remnants of the Lord's holy food, along with his friends, while fixing his mind upon me, upon Lord Narasimha. Text, now that is the complete section on Narasimha Chaturdasi, and so that'll be very interesting for a lot of people. And now we're coming to the Purnima, or we're coming to the end of the month of Vaishaka, which is the Vaishaka Purnima, or the full moon. So the vow of Vaishaki Purnima. In a conversation between Yama and a Brahmana that is found in the Padma Purana, it is stated, beginning from the time when the sun enters the Mesha Rasi and extending for the next 30 days, this period is very auspicious, sacred, and more pious than the performance of all types of sacrifice. This is a well-known fact that is discussed in the Puranas. Text 492. Among those 30 days, the full moon day of the month of Vaishaka, which is very dear to Lord Madhava, is especially auspicious. It is the first day of the Varaha Kalpa, right? And so it awards great piety. What do we mean by Varaha Kalpa? Okay, so there are different kalpas, which are different time periods. When we say a sun kalpa, or we make a vow to perform a particular ceremony or ritual, right? Then we often mention the details of the time and the place. So Sri Sweta Varaha Kalpe is the kalpa that we're living in right now. Sweta Varaha means the white boar incarnation of Lord Vishnu. So there is a kalpa in which the white boar appeared, and that is this kalpa. There are other kalpas in which the boar incarnation of the Lord appears, and sometimes the boar incarnation appears as a red boar. That will be the Rakta Varaha Kalpe, right? In the kalpa of the red boar. This is the kalpa of the white boar. So it is the first day, right? This full moon day of the month of Vaishaka is considered to be the full moon day, is considered to be the first day of the Varaha Kalpa. Right. So it's an observance here. And so it awards great piety. Text 493. It's also said, one who does not perform any pious activities such as taking a holy bath, giving in charity, worshipping the ancestors, or offering them oblations on the auspicious full moon day of the month of Vaishaka will certainly reside in hell. So text 494, there is no Shastra like the Vedas, no holy water like the Ganges, no charity like donating cows and water, and no auspicious day like the full moon day of the month of Vaishaka. Text 495. A devotee of Lord Vishnu who, on this Vaishaki Purnima, gives water and cows in charity, attains the form like that of Lord Vishnu, which is the Sarupya Mukti, or liberation, which is rarely achieved even by the demigods up to Brahma. Such a devotee easily ascends to the transcendental abode of Lord Vishnu. Text 496 to 497. In the same Purana, these statements of a preta, which is a type of ghostly or haunted being or subtle being, to Dana Sharma are found. I never even once observed the auspicious Vaishaki Purnima by performing pious activities such as sacred bath or giving in charity, worship of the Lord, and so on. As a result, all my Vedic activities have been rendered useless. It is because of my false ego that I have become a preta, or a ghost, by the name of Vaishaka. Text 498. It's also stated herein, Vaishaka Purnima is this destroyer of all kinds of suffering caused by the forest fire of sinful activities. It is like an axe for cutting off the darkness of ignorance, but I have not observed even a single practice properly. Text 499. One who fails to follow the vow of Vaishaki Purnima will be born as a multi-branched tree for 10 lifetimes before taking birth as an animal. Text 500 to 501. Prescriptions for those who are unable to follow the vow of Vaishaka. In the conversation between Yama and a Brahmana that is recorded in the same Purana, these verses are found. If one is unable to observe all the vows that are prescribed for the month of Vaishaka, one should at least observe, to the best of his ability, the vows prescribed for Trayodasi, Chaturdasi, and Purnima. Whether a man or a woman, if one does this much, he or she will be freed from all sinful reactions and ultimately attain the Lord's eternal abode, Vaikuntha, text 502. If one is unable to observe even these vows in relation to the month of Vaishaka, he should then feed 10 qualified brahmanas. So these are some what we call pariharas or exceptions to the rules of following these particular vratas in Vaishaka. If you can't do it, you can at least observe Trayodasi, Chaturdasi, and Purnima. If you can't observe even those, then simply feed 10 qualified brahmanas. Thus ends the translation of the 14th Vilas of Hari Bhakti Vilas. So we are now finished the 14th Vilas.
Om Namo Narayanaaya